have a question.
Yeah, Nancy.
Hi. Hi everyone. My name is Nancy and I'm a newbie. So this is my first business brokerage contact and I'm really excited. Tanya and I have already spoke last week a little bit. And so my biggest question is like, is it better to stay a generalist and take what comes, or is it better to silo yourself and become a specialist in a particular area?
All right. Anybody want to? There are benefits to both. Erica, Miles, you guys are both specialists to some extent. Do you want to give some feedback on that?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to kind of go into that. Here, I'll put my video on so you can see me here. Yeah, so I'm relatively new as well, Nancy. I started maybe about July or August in this, but I had been thinking about it for a while. But the fact that I was a specialist, I think, is why I've been able to kind of catch traction so quickly. I always kind of say, it's hard to know what to say if you don't know who you're talking to. And I think sometimes when you narrow your focus and know specifically what audience you're seeking out, it becomes a lot easier to kind of brand yourself and kind of tailor your marketing strategy. Um, Now, I would say that I am getting to the point now where I would like to become at least a bit more of a generalist. But my dance card is pretty full based on the industry that I'm in currently. So I'm starting to kind of have these thoughts about what my bandwidth level is, like available bandwidth for taking on more clients at this point. But
Miles,
yes,
tell her what industry you're in. I
yes.
know, but she doesn't.
Oh yeah. And so and this is the same for Erica. Erica's actually my business brokering mentor who's on the call as well, but we both kind of specialize and focus on the cannabis industry here in Montana. And the reason being is, one, we've got a lot of activity. It's pretty lucrative, and it's a big growth sector right now. But also it's an underserviced market segment, so that was kind of how I ended up in it. And it's been super beneficial for me to be a bit of a specialist, at least to start off my career in business brokering.
Is it because you know a lot about that sector going in? Is that why? Is that
Yeah, I think also I think my passion for the industry comes across pretty readily for people. I previously worked in the industry as I was getting my real estate license, and I originally was, doing residential, and then I just decided that, my passion was for working with entrepreneurs and business owners, and so I kind of just went where the path led me, so to speak. But I think there's a certain degree of authenticity in my brand, and that I actually really care about the industry that I'm building. So I think that definitely comes across in my marketing materials.
Thank you, Miles. Awesome. All right. So anybody want to talk about the other side of the coin? Generalist. Not so much? Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I can tell you that starting out, it's when you're starting out in business brokerage, Nancy, you have, depending on your circle of influence, you're going to have a lot of people that will tend to refer businesses to you. They know business owners. And again, depending on your background and your circle of influence, but you know a lot of business owners, they know other business owners and so forth. And so you tend to start getting referrals and which is a good thing. And people make introductions for you and all of that. And people know that, hey, Nancy's a business broker, and they're having a conversation at a chamber of commerce or some other networking meeting where somebody's talking about wanting to retire in the next year or two. And all of a sudden, your name comes up. So in terms of being a generalist versus being a specialist, you can pick a target market that you want to work in, but when it comes to referrals and all of that, I think you're going to get, you typically get referrals that are outside of your specific target market, but that's generally going to be a good thing because you don't want to burn referral sources, right? And so, you know, if your answer every time somebody refers something to you is, oh, I can't do that, or I don't, you know, thanks, but no, that's not my market, then you're kind of pigeonholing yourself and potentially turning away a lot of opportunities that, you know, could be really good opportunities. So.
Yeah, and to speak to that, I'm experiencing that right now. I just got a referral on new business today actually, and it's a landscaping business, so it's a different kind of grass than I'm that I'm used to working with. But yeah, it's kind of happening organically, you know. And I'm one of those people that I'll consider every opportunity, especially at this point. I'm not going to turn anything down. So I'm really excited to actually branch out and do something other than what my area of specialty has been up to this point.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is that as a generalist, you get to learn all kinds of things about all kinds of different industries, which is really fun. So every business is different, and you know, every business has to be valued on its own merits and everything else, and we all know that. But selling a manufacturing company versus selling an accounting practice versus selling a dental office versus selling, you know, a cannabis store, right? They're all different. And yet at the end of the day, as a business broker, what we're selling is truly, we're selling cash flow, okay, for the most part. Now, in some businesses like cannabis, you might be selling real estate as well, especially if it's a grow operation or something. Whereas when you're selling manufacturing companies, sometimes they own the building, a lot of times not. Accounting practices, tax practices, property management companies, all of those generally do not own the real estate. They're generally leasing an office somewhere. So, you know, I think that when you're valuing businesses, really doesn't matter what kind of business it is in most cases. What you're selling really is the cash flow, because that's what the buyers are looking for. So if you know how to sell one business, and what you really know how to sell all of them, it's just a matter of doing a little bit of research, market research, a little bit of homework so you can be proficient with the language and communicating in that particular arena, in that particular business sector. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.